Good morning, guys. How are y'all doing? I hope you're all doing really, really well. Yesterday, I went to a museum here in Lac La Biche. I went with my daughter's second grade class. We went to the Lac La Biche Museum. So I took some video coverage of the museum. I couldn't take pictures or videos of the kids, but I did take some video of the stuff that they have in the museum. So I'm going to put in a little bit of clips here just to show you what we have in our museum here in Lac La Biche, and I hope you enjoy. Pull it out. Pull. You can do it. Look at that tooth. It's about to come out. Pull on it. You can do it. She finally did it. She pulled out her teeth. Now you gotta sing, all I want for Christmas is my two front teeth, my two front teeth, my two front teeth. Right? Right. Now who's gonna come visit you today?
The tooth fairy.
Yes. Are you gonna put it in your fairy box? Good. Okay. There you go.
Bye, Bobby.
Bye. Okay, so now on for today. I have been stitching on my Esthers Wave. I was doing the Jessica band. I'm just looking at it here. I was doing the Jessica band like I typically do, and then go on to the next band. And I finished the entire band like 2 days ago. And then I went to go stitch on to the next band, only to discover that I was one stitch out. Now, looking at the Jessica stitches being one stitch out, it did not look out. You wouldn't be able to tell. But then when you go on to do the next band, it has to line up with the Jessica stitch, but then it would not line up with the band above that one. And so it would look off. And because you put so much effort and so much time into these pieces, I didn't want it to look like that. I wanted to do it justice. So I ripped all of the Jessica stitches out and I redid them, and I just finished them just now. Ed is off shift and he took Isabel out for coffee with his friend. So I'm here home alone, and I figured I would take some time to fix my error and catch up on some stitching, because I didn't have time to do any stitching yesterday. I was so busy with the kids and stuff. So yeah, I'm catching up, and I'm going to turn you guys around so I can show you. Okie dokie, guys. So I did the first half of this motif. So this is what it looks like. So I'm going to explain to you what happened here. So this rice stitch was one stitch over to the left, just like one stitch, and this is 36 count. So, you know, being one stitch over, you can't really tell. You can't really tell when you're one stitch over on 36 count. But when it comes to going down here and doing this stitch, well, then this stitch and this stitch line up, right? They're supposed to line up. But if this stitch was really over here, then you're starting this over here. Because if you make it line up with this one, then it's not going to line up with this right stitch, and it's going to look off. It is going to look off. It did look off. It will look off. So if you line it up so it lines up with this one, then it's going to be 2 stitches out from this one. Is that making sense? So I could either line it up with this one and it be 1 stitch out from here and it look terrible because it will look out. Or I can line it up with this and it be 2 stitches out from this one. So that didn't work. So that's why I had to frog all of these ones out. But now we are on to this band. The half motif is completed. This here is called a small rice stitch, and you, as you're doing the stitch, you make an X. I'm going to show you guys, but you make the X, you add the bead, and then you make a square around the bead. And then this is called a large rice stitch. And I will zoom in. So it's basically, you do a big cross and then you do an X. No, sorry, you do a big X and then you do a little plus sign, and then you do these kind of windmill-y thingies around it 3 times. And then you add beads to make it look more fuller that don't have any rice stitches in them. So that's what this band will entail. The next video that I do will be showing you guys how to do this and tips on how to do it. Sorry, I have a needle in my mouth. Tips on how to do it. So stay tuned, guys. We got company, guys. Look who come to pay us a visit.
Bye-bye.